It's time for the 10th round of the season. David Camino on pole from B Dragon Sonic and Marcus Nelson. Leo up in 4th with Sigmund alongside, and that's Kane Rodisis and Tuco. Next up is Inocui in 8th, and then Ender Dragon Downey and Dap Sanchez only 10th. That's Lawless to Click, the man who's tied on points with him. Kehori, Zeph in 13th, Catfish, Akari, Mini, Ravo, MF1 World, then it's Alan Lee, his teammate Daniel Baltasarov, Valerio Ramirez, and Solos Kynes. Here we are in Las Vegas then, round 10 with 2 more rounds after this to go. Will we have another new race winner as all 5 lights go on? We go green in Vegas, and that's a pretty good start from the top 2. Leo in the Envision, he's decided to go on to the hards. A lot of hard tire runners across the field, it seems. As a lot of drivers jostling around in position. Marcus Nelson getting past B Dragon Sonic as we go down the first of 3 straights on this track. B Dragon Sonic, however, retaking that lead from David Camino and Marcus Nelson. As we now look at Inocui on the hard tires, still in 6th, very good from him to actually still be in a top position, but he is still under threat from the entire pack closing in. David Camino going into the chicane, still side by side with the race leader B Dragon Sonic, going for his 2nd consecutive win in a season where it didn't look like he was even a championship contender. But we go down the famous Las Vegas Strip now. Camino now behind Marcus Nelson. He's not getting a slipstream benefit, but he will have the inside line coming into the funny W section of the track. Marcus Nelson now looks as if he can try and get a pass done on B Dragon Sonic. Can he get the move done? No, he cannot. But he's still going to be on the back of the Hyperdrive car ahead. Hyperdrive Mercedes EQ with a new livery for this race as we begin lap 2. Zygmunt's got himself up into 3rd as out of the race has gone Valerio Ramirez, and that's right there is the Apex GP car. Oh, almost hitting the back of the Porsche with Mini there. It seems like she was just forced into the wall, which happens a lot coming through Las Vegas. That final turn is quite a pinch point, and with the actual run down into turn 1 being the thinnest part of the track. Hyperdrive's new livery is to commemorate the partnership between them and Sega, with a blue livery, the Sega logo now on the car, and, well, advertisement on the front nose cone. Now Marcus Nelson, half a second down, he's going to get DRS there, coming down the main straight. He's got slipstream as well. Sigmund, by the way, up into 3rd from 4th, and Leo still 5th, and there goes Marcus Nelson into the lead. Goes the Season 9 champion, as behind them Zygmunt fighting with David Camino over 3rd place. Camino getting himself back up into 3rd. As we see Zeph on the back of Leo. Fastest 3rd sector for Marcus Nelson. As Dap Sanchez, by the way, made up 1 position from his starting grid position. It's not bad, but considering where he is in the championship and where he could end up at the end of the season, it isn't completely ideal. This championship, by the way, is still wide open, but BDS is now the favourite to win, after everyone else looking like it. The points deficit is 91 to BDS, 75 to Lawless Clerk, which is 26 points the gap between the top 2 and the championship. As it would stand, that gap would increase, and there are only, well, I say only, this is a lot of points, 78 points still on offer. for the drivers. As we see that Sonic X Shadow branded in hyperdrive car, closing in on Marcus Nelson, with Zygmunt doing the same. Back into the lead goes B-Dragon Sonic. Business as usual resumes as Leo now drops to 6th. He's been passed by Bazooka, and Zeph is next to get past. Ender Dragon Danny, he's been passed by Daf Sanchez. Sanchez to make another overtake as Zygmunt now pits on this lap. B-Dragon Sonic with a purple lap time to 1:27.150. As a lot of these soft tire runners might be thinking about making a pit stop. Into the pits has come K Hori.
The peace that has been able to manifest itself between Horner and Margot. Max isn't bothered about Jack. He thinks he's doing the best.
Now comes out of the pits. Only 21st and last, which is not too far off where he already was.
Or maybe needing to replace him. So essentially
but it's surely a 2-horse race out in front between B-Dragon Sonic and Marcus Nelson.
Then you've got to look at the other factors surrounding.
As it would stand, if B-Dragon Sonic was not to win this race, Marcus Nelson would inherit the lead of the driver's standings, leapfrogging Lawless Clerk. It's all about who can score the most points here. Yes, B-Dragon Sonic is now the first driver to have a gap ahead of the driver behind them. That's over a race win large, but here comes Marcus Nelson coming into this W section of the overtaking hotspot on the track as he now retakes the lead of the Prix. As that is Ender Dragon Danny sending it on Daf Sanchez there, and Sanchez now gets passed by Camodesis. Is there any problems on the hyperdrive car? No, because that's hard tires. Is now experiencing better tire welfare than the rest of the grid. B-Dragon Sonic, by the way, he's the longest of the top three. He started on the softs. He's currently still on them. Zeph, by the way, currently second. Lawless Clerk, one of the hard tire runners, currently now in 6th place, right ahead of Salos Kynes. Might see a bit of convergence in the final few rounds here as everyone trying to get more points ahead of the end of the season.
May I remind you, Sergio Perez on his day is not a bad driver. He is one of the good ones. Force India made the most out of
and
that
Zeph,
driver.
about 8 seconds off the back of the race leader. Pit stops around here being around 16 seconds, it seems, so I don't know. What I'm trying to say is I have no clue where anyone's going to come out because I don't have those statistics. But what I do know is half the Vegas Strip is between the race leader and 2nd place. And we've got another VSC is out of the race. Has gone Ender Dragon Danny and Marcus Nelson! Marcus Nelson is out! A championship contender, the man currently 5th in the World Driver Standings, is out of the Las Vegas E Prix. And that means that his hopes of winning a 2nd championship are next to 0. Oh my goodness me, B-Dragon Sonic has obviously just come out of the pits on soft tires, so this is going to be a strategic masterstroke as the hard tire runners also peel into the pits now. Who's actually going to stay out here? Zygmunt, he's going to be the man who's going to come out of the pits ahead of all these other drivers, but that's 4 seconds the gap between B-Dragon Sonic and Zygmunt. He was fighting with Marcus Nelson. Marcus Nelson isn't even in the race anymore. This is going to be, if it finishes like this, a 2nd straight lights to flag victory roundabout for B-Dragon Sonic. As we see Akari now coming under threat from David Camino. They are still side by side, the two teams represented by green. As through has now gone Camino. As Bazooka now at halfway distance, getting past Akari as well. Akari's teammate Leo currently in 6th place. It's Envision 5-6 currently with Catfish now selling a purple first sector time.
I think you should change that. Now he's not there anymore.
I believe the median tire should be able to do the entire race distance as well. Only a one stop expected around here in Vegas.
But now he's not there anymore. They're actually rolling back all that and saying, oh,
and my,
oh my. That much anyway, so he wasn't really useful. We did most of the work. And then we're saying,
then Nelson has basically gone and pulled all the yellow. As we see ahead of Wallace Leclerc, Carlos Sainz fighting with Ravo over that 11th position, and my goodness me, Ravo's been going on very long on his tyres, always has been in this championship. Now Sanchez setting a new fastest lap of the Prix, so that fastest lap still in Hyperdrive's hands. Great for the constructors' standings. There's Sainz fighting with Enoch Yui, the Apex GP driver, on the back of the Porsche ahead. Does he choose to pull out? And Wallace Leclerc now ahead of Sainz as well. And Sainz sending it on. And that Cooper car ahead, not quite close enough to make the pass at Cooper to become at Lola in real life. If they change their team name here, that'll also be somewhat cool. Kay Horry ahead of Carlos Sainz now. And that's all that's standing between him and points. As Leclerc behind also sees an opportunity to get something out of it. What a defensive move from Kay Horry to try and hold on to 11th place. Leclerc's going to take 10th away from Akari as well. And now it's up to Akari to try and defend from Kay Horry for all it's worth, but he's got a QE to worry about. That's just completely fine. Ravo's come over pits, by the way, and he is lost by a long way. As Carlos Sainz is 125.566. Akari makes his first pit stop. Went very long on those hard tyres. It's a commendable effort. But now the race leader, B-Dragon Sonic, if he pits now, he's only going to come out around his teammate, I believe. And I think this might actually end up becoming a free stop. What a surprise it was to see Marcus Nelson, one of his title rivals, benefiting so heavily from his incident. Carlos Sainz, by the way, speaking of title rivals, we missed the overtake, but he got past Daf Sanchez. Now the Porsche driver's running 7.8. Hopefully Batuco's going to make this one easy for his teammate, because Batuco's not in the championship hunt. His teammate is. The gap between B-Dragon Sonic and Zygmunt, now a pit stop wide as Carlos Sainz overtakes his own teammate. Zygmunt has now been passed by David Camino, going to lap 9 of 12 here on the Vegas Strip. And Enoch Yui fighting with MF1 World here for 11th place, just outside of the points. As Zygmunt now comes into the pits for a second stop with Batuco. They're going to try and undercut the race leaders, but I'm not too sure if it's going to work too well. Sainz now up in 4th. This is fighting for a podium now, fighting for a championship, fighting for more in the championship. He could still win this championship with the Porsche driver. He's on the back of Leo. And then there's David Camino to contest with. But these guys are on the soft tyres. Those softs are very worn. And then Camino on more worn mediums. With the race leader on 60% worn mediums as well. I see B-Dragon Sonic at least going to the end on his tyres with quite the comfortable gap to the cars behind him. 14 seconds is the gap between Camino and B-Dragon Sonic. That is the entire length of the straight part of the Las Vegas Strip. That is the entire length of that, as we see Carlos Sainz make 2 overtakes. Up into 2nd place goes the man currently 3rd in the driver's standings. Leo now also wants to be on the podium. The envisioned driver from the Philippines, the cousin of his teammate, gets up into third place. The number 30 on lap 10, up into third place now. And these guys still not wanting to make a pit stop. Camno, however, does pit alongside Lawless Clerk. Being safer is better than being sorry. As Dav Sanchez now pits as well. Now, are they going to pit V Dragon Sonic on this next lap? That is certainly a possibility. It's not truly impossible for that to happen. But when it comes to strategy, this race has left us on the edge of our seats. 7 seconds the gap between the two race leaders. I think Solos Kynes might be able to build that gap. Might be able to bridge the gap between the two of them. But my, V Dragon Sonic with just more fresh tires. Bogdasarov fighting with Mini over 6th place. And I think Daniel's gotten that 6th place, the French driver, but there will be DRS going on to the strip. Zygmunt's getting in on this fight too for 6th. And I think this might just be Mini's ball game, but no, Mini, as we head towards the DRS detection point here, Mini's got DRS, Zygmunt has DRS, Daniel does not. As into the pits has come the race leader. V Dragon Sonic is pit. Will Solos Kynes follow in turn? Yes, he does. Zeph. I think Zeph is going to stay out here. Zeph does stay out. Is that the race lead for Zeph? I believe, yes it is. Zeph now leads the Las Vegas E-Prix. V Dragon Sonic is now going to be second on the penultimate lap with 2.4 seconds to gap between the Brawn drive ahead and the Hyperdrive car behind. 5 seconds to drift to Zygmunt. And can V Dragon Sonic in just 2 laps bridge the gap? The gap now, for a second there is 2 seconds on the dot. I think he'll make it. I think he'll make it on the last lap. And according to Hyperdrive's statistics, that is what they are predicting as well. But it might actually be a lot shorter than that, because going towards the Las Vegas strip, V Dragon Sonic right on the back of Zygmunt for second for the lead of the E-Prix. V Dragon Sonic leads the Las Vegas E-Prix with Zeph now behind him, 7/10 drift. And I think Braun not pitting him might have been a minor mistake. That'll give him the podium at least, but it will not give him a win like they were hoping. Catfish getting a purple first sector. Kynes, Solos Kynes, he's going to be looking at 4th place here at best. He gets past his teammate, he gets past David Camino. So up into 4th has gone the Porsche driver, but Batuko now also getting past Camino, looks to try and fight his own teammate. There could be a few Porsche inter-team relationships happening. And on to the final lap of the E-Prix we go. Zeph doesn't pit. He's going to be one of the few drivers to try and pull off the one-stop strategy. And I think he should be good enough to do so. As Ravo's in the wall. Ravo in the wall coming up of the final turn. He's hit his front wing. That was not Ravo, sorry. That was Lawless Clerk, the man who's currently second in the championship, but sure to lose that position because he's outside of the points now with Kynes and V Dragon Sonic scoring points. And Yas Island could decide the Drivers' Championship one race early. On board with Dav Sanchez we go, as he's trying to close in on Lawless Clerk and Ravo ahead for a point. And Clerk tries to find a way past as Medicis gets past Takari, who's looking for points, something he hasn't had in a long time in this championship. My goodness me, V Dragon Sonic's pulled out his lead to 2 whole seconds as the rain, it's starting to rain here in Nevada. But coming into the final turn, he should still be able to make it through. V Dragon Sonic, he will win the Las Vegas E-Prix here in Nevada and set a new fastest lap of 123.149. Zeph at the line has been passed by Solos Kynes, who now resets that fastest lap and heading into Yas Island where the championship will likely be decided. Lawless Leclerc currently in 10th, and he will take home a point with the Cooper driver. Greatly appreciated by him as Catfish now comes across the line. This is the podium then for the second race in a row. B Dragon Sonic, but Hyperdrive Mercedes EQ wins the Las Vegas Prix, a race that back in season 1 he did not win, but was crowned champion at. Carlos Sainz, second place for Tag Heuer Porsche, and he's going to be finding a man currently on the top step, hopefully over the next 2 rounds. Then it's Zepp in 3rd place for Braun GP, the only driver to do a 1-stop and just about made it work for a podium. It's Sigmund, Batuko, David Camino, Leo, and K. Medicis. Akari in 9th, and Lawless Leclerc in 10th, but it's Daph Sanchez, Raylo, Not Kiwi, MF1 World, Mini, K. Horry, Alan Lee, Daniel Baltasarov, Catfish, Marcus Nelson, Ender Dragon Danny, and Valeria Ramirez. Those last 3 I mentioned did not finish the race. In the drivers' standings, B Dragon Sonic leads the way on 116 points, and he is ahead of Carlos Sainz, Lawless Leclerc, and Daph Sanchez. The gap between the top 2 in the driver standings is 29 points. Is it 29? Yeah, it's 29 points. Marcus Nelson in 5th place, and by the way, 29 points being the gap, the only drivers I believe who are still in championship contention are the top 4. Marcus Nelson is no longer a championship contender. Zepp is 6th, tied on points with the Jaguar driver. Batuko and Sigmund tied on 59. It's David Camino, Alan Lee, and the Dragon Danny, Valeria Ramirez, Medicis. It's the 2 McLaren still tied on 30 points. Ravo, Mini and Akari, and Daniel Bontsov all tied on 26. MF1 World on 22 points, and Leo and the Not Q both tied on 9 points. Going into the penultimate round in Yas Island, Hyperdrive Mercedes EQ lead the way on 184 points. It's Porsche on 146, then it's at Cooper and Braun, then it's Jaguar, the team that's likely to reach 100 points next time out. Then it's Andretti Autosport, Revolution Maserati, Bugatti, and McLaren. Those 2 tied on 62 points. Then it's Apex GP and Envision. We'll see you guys next time then for the Yas Island Prix.